Hello guys, welcome to the new video. This is the first video of the series about color grading. This course will have the complete information and I will teach you completely about color grading. The color grading will be specifically about photos in this thing. So, what is color grading basically? Color grading is all the work that you do for changing the colors in a photo. It's a element in editing. It's a really important element in editing because color grading makes the image really good. It enhances the raw images and many things. I'll completely tell you about these things as we start. So let's start with the basics. So first we have to open Photoshop. I'll recommend to use Photoshop only. So first in this open tab we can browse our images and load it over here. So I have loaded some images. So let's start with the first image. So we have opened this image. So for color grading we have to go into filter. In filter we have to select camera raw filter option. So as we open the camera raw filter option, it will take some time to load. Yeah, we have opened the option. So let's start with all the basic things. So the basic things are this that can be adjusted in image. So what's the temperature? Temperature, as we adjust it to the bluer side means the cold temperature. The image will become more blue and cold. So these are the cold temperatures at the left side. As we go in the left side, it starts becoming blue and blue. Same if we take it the right side, it becomes yellower. So that depends what we have to use and what we want in our image to have, which type of tint, what temperature we want in our image. So I have explained you about temperature. So tint is a different thing. Tint which it just tints your image towards these colors, either green or purple. There are two options over here. So as you can see, it's tinting over the green side if you do it on the green side, and it's becoming purple if you do it on the purple side. So next option is exposure. So these are one of the most important options in the whole editing process. These can change the image completely. Not only colors are important, but shadows, highlights, many things are important. So let's start with exposure. What's exposure? Exposure, you can understand it as the brightness of the image. Just for understanding purpose, it's not exactly as brightness. So I'll show you. When we decrease the exposure, it becomes more dull and just starts becoming dark, and basically the light starts decreasing. And if we increase, it just starts becoming too bright, and all the colors start to become brighter, and it goes this way. So exposure can be adjusted according to the image. If it's just too dark, we can increase it. If it's just too light, we can even decrease the exposure. What's contrast? So contrast is the thing that makes the colors differentiate from each other. The more we increase the contrast, the colors more differentiate from each other and become more punchy. So as you can see, I am increasing the contrast over here. All the colors over here start differentiating more from each other. Whereas if we take back, these colors look more similar now, but if we take it front, they start becoming different over here, and each color starts taking its individual space. So this is contrast, and if we decrease the contrast, it will just make the image more bland and just it will look too dull. Highlights is the shine that image has, the reflections and all, the sun's lighting directions, and also if we increase the highlights, they'll become more visible, as you can see, and if we decrease them, they will become more blank. So the next option is shadows. Shadows, as I think all you must be knowing. So this tab increases and decreases the amount of shadow. So if we decrease it, the shadows will become too dark and the image will overall have a lot of dark things. And if we increase the shadows, it will just erase all the shadows and make the image just too bland. It will not have any shadows. So this way the shadow tab works. So this is the whites tab. Whites tab just increases and decreases the amount of white color in the image. So as we see, if we increase it, it increases the whites. If it decreases, it decreases the whites. Same with the blacks. If we increase the blacks, it will just decrease the blacks. Here it's opposite. And if we decrease it, it will enhance the black colors. If we decrease it, it will de-enhance the black colors. So if we go to texture over here, texture basically is the thing that makes your image rough and gives the texture. I'll show you by zooming in it. if we increase the texture, as you can see, the textures become more clear. Like if it's back and if we increase it, as you can see over here, if we take closely, we can see. Otherwise, in such a clear image from long distances, we are unable to find any difference. So let's move towards the other option. Clarity is the thing which increases clarity if there are some blur sites in your image and if you want them to look more crisp and clear. So I'll show you this again by zooming in it. So as you see, the clarity also makes the image too rough and just too sharp. So too much of clarity also doesn't look good sometimes. As you can see, the images just started looking a bit weird over here. So the clarity is this. And dehaze is the option when we want to dehaze the image. If there is some haze, we can use this tab to decrease it. As you can see, this itself has made so much of difference in the image. And if we take it to the left side, it will increase the haziness in the image. So the basic tab has just two options left more. The vibrance increases the vibrance of the colors. It makes the color more pop and just makes them more better. So I'll show you how it works. If we increase the vibrance, as you can see, the orange color becomes more bright and starts popping outside. Whereas we decrease it, it becomes very dull and just washed out. Say saturation is also same thing, but saturation works with differently. It just makes the color more darker and deep, whereas this makes it pop. Vibrance makes it pop out, and if we decrease the saturation, it will just start erasing the colors. It will just make it black and white at the end. So this is the first basic tab of the Lightroom or the color grading. So I'll show you and edit this image and show you that how just by using the basic tab we can make so much of difference in the image. So let's get started. First, I want this image to be on little bluer side. So I'll take it just a bit blue because too much will look unnatural. And here also I'll take it on the green side. It's just all upon our convenience and what we want to look it as, and we can do it according our preferences. So here exposure is, I will keep it a bit less because it's not like, I don't want it to be much. Contrast I'd like to increase because the colors are just too bland over here. The highlights will be a bit less. Shadows will be a slight more. Whites will be less and the blacks will be a bit more. The texture and clarity in dehaze will not change more. Dehaze only we will change a bit. Dehaze we will increase. Now we have the vibrance tab. So we will just increase by it up by a bit and decrease the saturation a bit. And here we go. Just by using few tabs, we have made the image look so good and so better than before. So this was about the first tab about the color grading. So let's get towards the next tab. So guys, we are back. So now this video is going to be about explanation about second tab in the color grading option. So here we are going to choose a different image for this. So let's get started with a new image. So here we have got the image. So let's open camera raw filter again. We have opened camera raw filter. Now the second tab is the curve tab. Curve tab is just first curve is just all the main basic things just all together. So we have to adjust it very accordingly. See, if we take it just too much, it's just increase the exposure too much. Here it decreases too much. So I want the image to have a little bit more exposure than it has already because it's too dark. These tones should be a bit darker. It is pretty just a job that it cannot be taught much. You have to just do it by yourself. You have to see what goes well with the image and you have to do it by yourself. So the second tab is about red and this blue color. So this will just colorize the image towards one color that you stretch the curve towards. So here it goes like blue, green, and here it goes red. So I want the image to be a bit red, just a bit, not too much. Here we have taken it towards red side and the bottom a bit bluer side. Here we have done. In the green color I want the image to be just a bit green, and this should be towards the purple side. And here we can see what are these curves? These curves are just the curves that will make you change the color according to the given colors that they have, and you can just adjust them. So this is done. So third is the blue color. So here also we can adjust it to blue and yellow color. So I will give it just a bit yellow towards the downside and a blue towards the upper side. I decrease the yellow a bit. Okay, so here we have done with the curve tab. This curve tab didn't had many features as the basic tab, but still made a lot of difference. And as you can see, the image has become much better than what it was before. So the next tab that we have is detail. This is a very short tab and has some minimal things. So this is sharpening, which will just make the image more sharper. As you can see, it became more sharper than it was before. The things started becoming clear. So I don't want it to be much more sharper than this. So just we'll keep the sharpness less. And here we have the next tab, which is noise reduction. So if your image has some noise or you want to decrease the noise, so you can apply this, and it will just make it smoother and just let the noise go. And this is the color noise reduction. It also works the same way, so we are just gonna apply it a bit, not much. So we have done with the 3 tabs. This is how our image looks. It just looks great now, and a complete professional edited image. So we move on towards the next tab, which is color mixer, one of the most important tabs. But for this we have to change the image, so we are gonna switch to a new image. So for this image I will like to choose the image which will just change the complete scenario by changing few colors. So for this I'm gonna choose this image. So let's go to camera raw filter. So after these basic things I'm gonna start with some projects also. This video is just gonna be about some basic explanation. So we have opened the tab. So now where we are at color mixer. So this has all the colors. We can change hue, saturation and luminance of all these colors. So let's start with basic. So hue about the red colors. So this image has very little red colors. So if I would like to have the red colors to pop a bit. Hue is just the color. It basically makes the color more stronger and brighter together. You will figure out as you do it yourself. Orange. So the main color that this image has orange. So let's see how it does. See, if we take towards the left, the orange become red and just changes the image completely. And if we take towards the right side, it will first turn it into yellow, then green. So this time I would like it to have it a bit red side, because this is the basic idea of the project, that we have to show the color mixer. So here we have changed the color from orange to red. This is the very useful feature in this. Yellows, there are just yellow tones that are changing. There is not yellow color as such, so we'll keep it on left side because right side is just not looking good that much. Here we have the green color. So green color, there are some basic plants over here, so just let's make them bit pop more. Here are the aquas. So there are no aquas over here, no such colors to be get changes. So the blues, so the blue colors will change the sky accordingly. So this image should be a bit on the light blue side and red, which color because the colors will just contrast good together. So I'll adjust this towards this. Purples, so there are no purples in this. There are no magentas also, so this won't make any difference. So saturation, No, so now most of the things are red, so we have to do very carefully. If we undersaturate the red colors, no, sorry. So saturation. So we have only the grain which is in red color, so we'll just saturate it more so that it looks different. Now orange trace will make a lot of difference in saturation. So if we undersaturate, then they will look just bland. So we'll increase the saturation just by a little in this image because it's not needed much. Yellows are not there much, so I'll prefer the yellows to be just a bit less. Green should be a bit more saturated. Aquas are not there, so blues now are very important. So I this image we should increase the saturation because the blues are not that visible. So we have increased it over here, and now luminance is just it makes the image like a light. It just starts making it glow. So luminance is also a very important part. It should not be like done too much so that it looks weird because luminance can just totally destroy your image sometimes. So here we are going to increase the luminance in the red. In orange, if we increase it too much, it just looks too light, and if we decrease, as you can see, just it has killed the whole image. So this time we are going to keep it just a bit less. Yellows also we are going to decrease a bit. Greens we are not going to move any much. So in the blues are just too bland or backside, so we are going to decrease the luminance in the blues. So this is done. So as you guys have to use it yourself to figure out what color will suit more and what we have to do towards the image. So the color mixer tab is done over here. I have explained you all the things what are those and what we have to use, what we have to do. So let's move towards the second thing, color grading tab. The color grading tab is just colorizes the image whole towards one color. So mid-tone shadows and highlights. So if we can totally change it towards the theme we want. So the theme we want in this video is red and blue. So we'll just do it a bit over red over here. And this tab will decrease a bit. So shadows I want them to be a bit bluer. So we will just make it then blue. And make it just more darker. And here highlights, so the highlight should be red. So here we are done with the highlights. So we'll increase the blending more and the balance should be just the same where it is. So here we have done with the color grading tab. So the next tab is optics. Optics is also very useful tab. The distortion is just we don't have to use it much in color grading, and also distortion we are not going to use much. We are going to just keep it 0. Vignette adds a black border towards your image on the 4 directions. It just makes it look more deep, adds the depth in that. And if we do it towards the right side, it makes it lighter. So in this image we will keep it on the left so that we get more depth. So this theme is not too much light, so it's just bit shadowy, so we are gonna decrease the vignette. So geometry is not the thing I'm gonna teach you now. Effect, so we are here at effect. So here the vignetting can be made more darker, but we are not gonna do that because it will just make too much of vignette. If you want grain in an image, we can also do that. So here I'm getting a bit of green. If you want too much, we can also do that. Now calibration, this is also a very important tab. So let's get started with the shadows, tint in the shadows. So this will make some minor differences only, but we should adjust it. So I'm gonna take it towards the purple side in this side, and then the red primary color. So we are gonna adjust it accordingly. Here it's becoming too pink. So we are going to just take it till here and increase the saturation just a bit. Adjust it accordingly. So this is the basic three colors: red, green, and blue. These are adjusted. The hue and saturation is adjusted through this tab. So green are not there much. We are not going to play much with the greens and all. So blues are just like they're totally going to change our image, because as you can see the hue is just changing a lot. So we are going to tape it on the right side. The saturation we are going to increase. And here we have done with the calibration tab, and we have completed so we have done with the explanation of all the tabs over here. So the next video will be about a project on using all these tabs. Till then, goodbye. I'll see you in the next one.